In this lecture, I'll be teaching you about the instrument that is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. So basically, there are two instruments that are used to measure the atmospheric pressure. First one is called barometer and second one is called manometer. First of all, barometer. Now let's talk about that in detail. As you can see in the structure, barometer is like a stand containing the mercury. This is mercury Hg that leads to tell us the atmospheric pressure. How? As you can see here, when this barometer is placed in the atmospheric pressure, the atmospheric pressure causes the force downwards at the mercury, and when this mercury is pressurized to be downwards, the mercury inside this came to upward. Like the mercury will lead to go into the tube. As more the pressure, as more the mercury will be filled. And at this point, we'll say that the pressure is the highest one. So, in detail, we can say that when atmospheric pressure acts upon the mercury and lead it to fill the tube, this is called the atmospheric pressure. Now just suppose at the initial, without any atmospheric pressure, the mercury stands here. When there is increase in pressure, it starts increasing, then increasing. Now this increase in the mercury, the value of the mercury is known as atmospheric pressure and it is measured in atm. Now this is called the barometer. There's another instrument to measure the atmospheric pressure, and that instrument is called manometer. So basically manometer is a bit complex to be studied. So let's study that. First of all, in manometer there is also the Hg, mercury used, but in different way. We can say that in the barometer there is an open source of the atmospheric pressure, but as in manometer there isn't an open source, we have to put the atmospheric pressure inside the manometer through the sources like this, and then it will cause the increase in the rate of the mercury, and from that we can easily measure that what is the pressure at that time. As I told you, this would be the source of the pressure. We have to put the gas inside that, and then the gas will go upwards. Then we will turn it, and the gas will directly goes to the mercury that is placed here. There is an equal source of the mercury, but when there is atmospheric pressure applied on that, the mercury starts increasing. As it is also shown here that the mercury starts from this point. Let me draw it by another one. Okay, this point to this point. Why? Because there is atmospheric pressure here. So here when the mercury is balanced, so we'll say that there is no atmospheric pressure. As the mercury increases from this side, we'll say that there is atmospheric pressure. Now here This is the peak of the atmospheric pressure. At this point, we'll say the pressure is the highest one. Let's take an overview on this chart. This is the source. When the pressure increases, or we can say that get inside the tube, it causes the tube to be mercury to be increased. Now here the mercury, when we'll say that the mercury, the atmospheric pressure is zero, when these both states of the mercury are equal, but here they are unequal, so we'll say that there is a difference in the height, so there is a pressure. Now here is a chart from where you can easily identify that in which point there is the highest pressure. Now I have forgot to tell you one thing, that the mercury present here is in the fluid form. By the way, in the U shape, when both of the mercury fluid are equal, so there is no pressure. When the mercury is improved somehow, so there is pressure. Now there are two kind of pressure being exerted here. When these both type of pressure are of same pressure atm, so there are equal mercury. If this pressure P1 has less pressure and P2 has more pressure, sorry, P1 has more pressure and P2 has less pressure, so it will increase the P2 value. If the P1 has less pressure and P2 has more pressure, so it will cause the increase in the fluid at the side of the P1. So that was all about the manometer. You have understand that how we can measure the pressure, atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure are always measured in atm. That's the standard form of that. And that's all about today's lecture.